Hi guys, I just wanted to talk about some points concerning the Australian Open final. The first thing that I wanted to mention is that you could say that Medvedev's ground strokes are pretty much the perfect shots to give Sinner trouble. Why? Because Medvedev hits really flat. And when I say flat, I mean he hits the guy he was even running around some shots that were coming towards him in the down the middle of the court, and he will actually hit the backhand because his backhand is even flatter than the forehand. So different to most players that will run around to hit a forehand, he will run around to hit the backhand, knowing that's what's gonna give Sinner trouble. Sinner has always had trouble hitting the ball that is below about his knees height or below. He's a tall guy, and especially he hits hitting two-handed and with a lot of topspin. His racket drops a lot and then goes up. So it's a very for a ball that is coming low, flat with no angle. It's difficult to get the racket at a good timing, especially if you're a tall guy that and hits a two-handed backhand. You got to make sure that you bring that you widen your stance enough, and you go down with your knees and your back knee, which if you're a righty should be your right, the left leg knee, that should be really close to touching the ground. That left knee, left knee on the backhand, and the right knee on the forehand. That's those back knees. That's pretty much what tells you if you're widening enough your base, and if you're really getting down with your knees, or you're more bending over. So yeah, that was the first thing that Medvedev shots, his game, it fits perfectly to give trouble to Sinner. That's the first thing that I wanted to mention. Of course, Medvedev's second thing is he came out really aggressive, knowing that he cannot really. Sinner has been hitting the ball immaculate. I mean, it's just insane. And I think Medvedev knew that if he's gonna go out there and just kind of fool around and try to play long points, it's gonna be it was gonna be difficult to win, and plus the fact that he was already tired. He had, if I'm not wrong, he had like 6 more hours on the court than Sinner. So that tiredness thing was a factor as well. So he came out playing super aggressive, which paid his dividends in the first two sets. But on the third set, things changed a lot. I think a part of it being the tiredness mostly, but we'll talk about that anyways. Returns position. If you notice, Medvedev return, he was moving forward. He usually steps far back. If you see the court in the Australian Open where they have the Melbourne letters, those Melbourne letters, there are about 3 feet behind, or no, sorry, 3 meters or 12 feet behind the baseline. And he was standing from the position where he was standing. He was receiving probably like a couple of feet close to the baseline. And at the end, after the second set, on the third set, you see him, and he's already standing pretty much right on the Melbourne letter. So he jumped from going 1 or 2 feet from the baseline to going to 12 feet, which he's been usually doing that, like standing far back there. And but when he was being aggressive in the first and second set, and getting that ball early on the rise, he was doing a lot of damage to Sinner. He was not giving him any time to hit well, and the fact that he hits the ball hard, it's even less time that he was giving him. But yeah, so being tired is something that affected him definitely. That's to me, that's the main factor that changed probably the was going. Another thing that he has a very long swing. Medvedev has a very long swing. So having that long swing also is going to give you less time when you step too close to when you want to be too aggressive. He doesn't really shorten it very much. And another thing is that the fact that he hits the ball with the same side of the strings on forehand and backhand. So that means that when he's receiving, he doesn't go forehand and then backhand here. No, he goes forehand, and then he moves the racket completely. He flips and hits the backhand with that same side. So just imagine to a shot that is coming at you, serves at 120 miles per hour. I mean, just imagine that you have Sinner serve coming at you at those high speeds, and you have to you do that with the racket, you flip it. It's to me it's insane. I mean, I'm surprised that he has not changed that by now. So that definitely had an effect on it as well. And that's also one of the reasons why he, if you notice, he was kind of chipping some serves because he that takes a lot of time away from you. At the end of the second set, Sinner won a couple of games, so he ended up losing that 6-3. But in those two games, you could already tell that something was starting to shift a little bit. I remember thinking those games they looked like Medvedev was starting to struggle. Was the very first kind of glimpse of tiredness that he made us see. And I was like, if he doesn't get the lead on the third set, I think this story is going to change, and that's what happened. But in the third set, there is a point when they were 1-all that Medvedev looked playing a little bit safe. His game, his level, he started moving back on the serve, returning, further back, and his game definitely started. I don't think he started playing bad. He just becoming more defensive, more of his regular game, moving further back on the court and not getting that ball on the rise and staying close to the baseline. And of course, that's a game when Sinner's ball bounces and kicks really high, so that kind of pushes you back and makes you run. The further back you move from the baseline, the wider the angle. So you're gonna have to run more for the shot. So, and of course, that didn't help. One of the things that Sinner struggled on the first two sets is the fact that he hits. I didn't do it as much as I've seen it before, but he hits a lot of open stance shots. All the years that I've been coaching, and I've been coaching for more than 2 decades. Every person that I have that hit open stance, they struggle with their footwork, especially moving forward. That's one of the things that Sinner was having a hard time hitting balls on the run, especially hitting balls on the run when he had to move to the sides. Okay, so I think I think that his team must have noticed that, and I'm sure they're working on it, because definitely he was moving much better yesterday. Starting the fourth set, the 4-point that was at 30-all was a 39 shot rally. That was in the fifth. Fourth point, they're already 2 sets all, and if you put yourself in the position of Medvedev, you're like, okay, we're going towards the fifth set. I'm running out of gas. Then early in that fifth set, you have a 39 shot rally, and it's 30-all. I think that's where he broke down, and that was probably like the last thing that got him, discouraged and completely burnout. A long rally super early in the fifth, like saying, it's like a message from Sinner saying, of course, Sinner you're not trying to make a rally on purpose, you don't want it to extend it on purpose, but he's like sending a message, like saying, this is what's coming for you. This is how difficult you're gonna have it if you think that you still can. If you want to make it you want to win in 5 sets. So anyways, I just wanted to talk about those things. I think that there was a lot to learn from this match. Super entertaining. I'm very excited for Sinner. Last year, I think that we all knew the guy to me, he was the best player in the second half of the year of 2023, and there was no surprise that he was on his way to win a slam this year. So it's exciting. It's exciting to start this year with none of the 3 big guys, not Federer, not Nadal, and not Djokovic, won a slam. And if I'm not wrong, it's been like 20 years since that happened. So I'm glad it was Sinner, and looking forward for the rest of 2024. Give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, guys.